Well, if we thought our Spanish was bad, our Portuguese is even worse.
Okay.
But nonetheless, that's not a requirement to cross the border. So we entered Portugal to spend about a week in between Lisbon and Porto. So our planes are in and out of Lisbon, or Lisboa. So we took a train to go to Porto, that first day from Malaga.
Huffed it there, travel day.
Huffed it there. Ended up really smelly in Porto. But so actually, we were staying in Vila de Gaia, which is right on the other side of the Douro River.
Yeah.
And
so we had a beautiful
view, which we discovered that first night.
Not from our Airbnb, but from a short
let's,
walk
let's
away.
Be clear.
Yeah, the Airbnb was, it was all you needed. Say that about it. But the park nearby was one of a few parks that were our favorite
were there
parts
probably
of,
every
of
day,
Porto.
Which was incredible. But yeah, so we did a lot of touristy things while we were in Porto.
That park being one of them.
That being one of them.
And what else would you do again?
Yeah, so I think Will and I had a few conversations, but we spent 4 days in Porto, sorry. And so the things that we loved and would definitely recommend and do again, the first one being the tasting of port. And kind of learning the history of it at Taylor's. It was a part of a bigger tour, but that really stood out.
Yeah.
And then we did a really good job of exploring a lot of the different parks.
Yes, we hit up 4-ish main parks. The one obviously in Vila de Gaia that we loved, and then the ones that were nearby the tower. I'm just going to call it the tower. I don't know what it was called.
Yeah, we've obviously done our research here, folks.
Whoops. The tower.
Yeah.
If you go to Porto, you'll know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
The parks nearby there, I think, were my second and third favorites.
Yeah, one of them was really close to the Harry Potter library that we couldn't go to because the line was so long, and we're like,
we don't wait in lines.
We don't wait in lines, exactly. And that kind of leads us to what you were mentioning, the tower. We did go up the tower, and that was actually a lot of fun. So
yeah, that was
a walk up, and you get a beautiful 360 view of the city, which I always love doing.
And it's I've never actually walked up a church tower.
Oh, yeah, so there were bells and everything that we could see.
Yeah, and they were ringing. They rang at a
5:30,
point when people were coming up, and we weren't nearby, but we could hear them screaming in pain. Maybe not screaming, but
it was very loud in their ears for sure.
Yeah, complaining loudly.
But I think for me, what stands out the most are the bars that we went to.
Oh my god, yeah. We went to a few repeat bars. We went to 3 bars more than once.
I know.
Kind of by chance for 2 of them. And yeah, I love that we would get the same orders. So spend €3.
This is my summary of them.
Yeah.
The one was super cheap in a beautiful side location, so you get a bit of a view of the river, and it was the cheapest. So that was incredible. Yeah. Then there was Mirajaz, which was a hole in the wall on one of the stairs, heading down to the river. Yeah. Which actually was on Dave's recommendation list, but we didn't know. We just happened upon it. So they do live jazz. And then the third one is the bar on Vila de Gaia with the same view from the park.
Which is incredible. Which is, given their
probably
real
Will's
estate,
favorite.
Their viewpoint is crazy.
Yeah, the food was surprisingly good. We went back twice to eat.
And their drinks were
There was entertainment.
Okay, right? Yeah, I love the music, trancey EDM.
Yeah, I was going to say the birds. So that was amazing. And then I think the main touristy thing that we did that I really liked was also the boat tour.
The boat tour.
It's always nice to be on water.
Would recommend, for sure.
Yeah, get to see all 6 bridges and stuff.
Yeah. And real quick, before we move on to Lisbon, what would you skip?
I don't know, Will, what would you skip?
I would have skipped. So in addition to the tower, we also did a light show.
Yeah.
Probably not going to be there again for other people. The videos of it look really cool, but the setup of it was all the cool stuff happened on the ceiling. So, within 10 minutes, your neck was cramping. Anyways.
Will was whelmed.
Exactly. We also went to the beach, which was a little bit disappointing. I think we were too spoiled by Biarritz, and so the beach in Porto just didn't resonate.
It didn't help that it was a cold day.
It's a cold day. The surf was met. We tried renting surfboards. It wasn't easy.
Yeah, the infrastructure was there. Yeah. The beach itself is very industrial, not very nice.
Yeah, and we went out for grilled fish too, which
in that same area.
I was excited to try, but it was the saltiest thing I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, it's the first 2 bites are good, and then by the 6th, you're like, how am I going to finish 5 full squids?
anything surprise you about Lisbon?
Yeah. So I had been to Lisbon for one day before, but I hadn't seen this ruin of this old church from like the 11th century that's just still standing amongst all the earthquakes that they've had and stuff, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, that's probably the best thing we've done so far in Lisbon.
Yeah, and we like debated. They had like the smallest line, the smallest entrance fee, and we like debated. We're looking at like, do we just keep going? And instead, it was just like, A, the architecture was beautiful, and then B, they had a little museum in the back section with like crazy artifacts, including like these, sacrificed Inca children.
Yeah.
Which are like, why are you in Portugal?
Why are you in Portugal? Yeah. What happened? Yeah. Who took you out of your burial ground?
Anyway. Anywho, skipping over, some
theft.
Some of those decisions. I love that ruin for sure. And then also I thought the castle, which I guess is not really a ruin so much, but the castle
St. George.
St. George. George? Yeah.
George.
I thought that was a ton of fun.
I agree. It was so
there.
Calm in there. They allow a gazillion tourists, but it's a whole little city inside.
Yeah.
There's a lot of room to roam around.
Yeah. So that was a ton of fun.
But you really liked the LX Factory.
Yes, I did. I think I liked it a little more than you. Is that fair to say?
I think I was just having a hard day. My Advil hasn't kicked in yet at that point.
All right.
But then I think, it was very cool.
Yeah. So the thing I loved about LX Factory was that, well, firstly, I don't know, it's unlike any other neighborhood I've explored before, but the description does kind of match what you see. And then the apartment building, I think, was my favorite part, where you go in and it's like this kind of like abandoned post-apocalyptic warehouse apartment building thing. And so you think that you're entering this building incorrectly. Like you think it's closed off and maybe you missed some red tape that you were supposed to, not pass. But instead, all of a sudden there's stores and you can go all the way up to like the 4th floor and there's like people working in company, like, you can kind of look into their office, and I saw some people doing some, AutoCAD design stuff, and I was like, what? This building is wild. So I don't know, the whole community there I thought was really cool.
They did a good job refurbishing like an area that was completely abandoned.
It made me wish that we had an Alex Factory in Canada. Ideally Toronto, but I would do.
I mean, you would think they'd be able to do it by like the waterfront. You'd think they'd be able to do more.
Toronto, if you're listening, let's make one.
Yeah, are you listening to our podcast? And then we did head out to Sintra. I was surprised that Sintra existed.
Yeah.
It's not at all like it is in
The Witcher.
The Witcher.
That was the main reason I think we discovered
definitely
a city called Sintra. Like, this has to be the coolest thing. The pictures of it looked cool.
It was very romantic or fantastical. I don't know.
I think there's like 3 castles you can kind of choose from, and if you went there early in the morning, you spent the whole day, you could probably do 2 or all 3, but we just picked one. And it was whelming.
Yeah.
To use that phrase again.
It was like being at Disneyland.
But without the rides.
But with no rides. Yeah, it was
it was just
overly touristy.
Overly touristy. And then the other thing too, actually, that you touched on, which I agreed with you, is, if the history was, this was some, hundreds years old, although I guess it was hundreds of years old, ground built for some like really cool reason, but instead it was just like, no, it was it was still almost 200 years old, but it was built
for some guy's enjoyment.
Just for someone's enjoyment, which I guess is kind of all castles. I don't know.
Well, some of them are actually fortresses. We'll get back to you on that in Scotland. We'll have more on that.
Yeah.
On that note, we were heading to Greece next, and we're very excited to go meet up with more friends.
Yes, and explore and try new cuisines. And
I'm very excited for Greek cuisine.
Yeah. No, but primarily hanging out with Tommy. I'm stoked.
No, the food.
Real set, real quick. What just happened?
We got offered shots again. Oh, and an extra drink.
Yeah.
We're leaving happy.
All because our food was like, I don't know, 10 minutes? No, I don't even know, like 5 minutes late? Okay, come back to this place if you're ever in Porto, because they've got a wicked view of the city.